Welcome back to Sports Wrap Live, everybody, from Vegas. And our special guest on the line right now apparently wanted a flight out here. I wish I would have known. I totally would have brought her out here, but I know she's got her hands full over there at U of H. And we are big fans of the Cougs here on Sports Wrap Live, so we are so happy that the season has kicked off once again. And we have Coach Kyla on the line. How are you, Coach? All right, Coach, how are you? Awesome. Well, you know what? It's that time of year, of course, as Valentine's Day rolls around. We know that those big yellow balls over there are flying around the park at U of H, and we are happy to hear that you guys are out to a 5-0 start. So why don't you just right off the bat tell us what your expectations were coming into this season? Wow, already half the season's total from last year. Well, and you're getting power, you're manufacturing runs, but you're also getting some early season power from some of your younger players. Awesome. Well, after making a deep postseason run last season with an incredible freshman class, including the battery of Deidre and Haley Uten, some of our favorite players over there, tell us about this year's freshman class coming in and how they are already contributing.
Put it on.
Well, tell us about the mood of the team. Is this a fun team? You know, obviously, I know you're all about business, and you when you're out there coaching, you know you do a hell of a job. But I know you also like to. You told us last season you like to keep the girls loose. Going into some of the big games as they did towards the tournament last season. What's the attitude around the locker room this year? Hmm. Now, in softball, for people that don't follow it as intently as I do with a daughter that plays softball, or some of the big time loyal fans over there, Cougar fans. Now, it is general rule when you're playing softball is the hit and run more. Is that more of an offense that a lot of teams play, or is that something that you really have to focus on? Because we know softball can be a power game. Is that something that is really taught on the college level more so, or is this something that you're kind of tweaking to the talent you have on the team? All right, and graduating, of course, Amanda Crabtree, who we had on the show last year, she graduated, so she moved on, and we talked about the freshmen. Let's talk about the leadership role that you're looking for from your seniors who have been through the ups and downs over the 4 years there at U of H. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Well, we all know that Andrew Martinez, who covers baseball and a lot of college sports here on Sports Wrap Live, I asked him if he had any questions for you, and he said, "Well, you know what? Rice just doesn't have women's softball because all their ladies do is study." So, well, absolutely. You're talking about a team that was on the verge of a college softball championship last season, and we're looking for those things coming up this season. Now, Kyla, tell us about what's coming up on the schedule, and tell us a little bit about your conference and some of the teams that might, be a formidable foe for you guys this season. Wow. Well, we're talking to Coach Kyla, the U of H women's softball coach over there. Of course, the Cougars, they're on the rise. They are putting themselves on the national map as far as softball goes, and exciting games to get out there, go over to the park. It's just in the shadow of downtown Houston. Make sure you go out there and support the ladies. They love it when the crowds fill up and the seats fill up over there, and it's a lot of fun. Of course, we take our girls from Bel Air softball throughout the season. They've done some off-season camps with the girls over there. It's a great experience for everybody and the entire family. But I want to tell you one thing: when you guys go to A&M, make sure you slam the door on them on their way out to the SEC, please. Awesome. All right, well, tell us just a little bit about the pitching rotation since you did lose a couple of key pieces in this past season. Tell us something about. We all know Deidre Uten and her sister Haley that catches for her, but tell us about the rest of the pitching staff. Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, there's not many coaches out there that would say, hey, you know what, this is on me. This is something that I'm going to correct going forward. But that's what Coach Kyla does when she comes on the show. She shoots straight. She's going to tell you exactly how it is, and she's the same way with her girls on the field. So, Coach, we look forward to keeping up with you and the rest of the ladies over there at U of H throughout the season. Good luck in the next week or so, and we'll be checking back in with you after the A&M tournament. Absolutely, absolutely. And tell everybody we said hello from Sports Wrap Live. All right, talk to you soon. Go Cougs. All right, there you go. There you go. Inside after the first week, and the Cougars are off to a 5-0 start. I want to thank Tori for setting that interview up, and we will keep you guys abreast to what's going on over there on the softball diamond at U of H. But right now, we are at the bottom of the hour, so I have to give you guys a very, very special deal that we've been running now for a couple weeks since the H-Town Sneaker Summit. And that is for BC Smoke Shop, where you can get $20 off a purchase of $100 if you have the coupon or you mention the Wrap Pack Special. Now, being out here in Vegas, of course, you know what? There's a lot of haze, there's a lot of smoke, there's a lot of people out here that enjoy nice glass pieces and a good time. And if you guys want to have a good time, go over to BC Smoke Shop. They have 2 Houston area locations at 7909 Westheimer and FM 1960 at Jones Road. And if you go to sportswraplive.com, that coupon is on the homepage. You can print it out, take it over there yourself. Or if you were at the Revolution concert and you got one of those cards in your pocket, man, make sure you use those. That's the Wrap Pack Special, and they will take good care of you over there. Well, since we were on the diamond already with Coach Kyla from U of H, we're going to keep it on the diamond, Andrew. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, Hall of Fame catcher, one of the guys that was really a baseball personality, like I said, the original Montreal Expo, if you would, the first real star there in Montreal as that franchise came into the league, and world champion with the New York Mets, Gary Carter, passed away today unexpectedly from some complications due to a brain tumor. Absolutely. Not only that, but one of the sweetest curls in baseball back in the day. I mean, he would rock it. Him and Gary Templeton from San Diego Padres were some of the best some of the best curls in baseball. But hey, speaking of all-time legends, we ran into the all-time hit king Pete Rose today after doing some sightseeing in Vegas, and he was over there at Antiquities in the Caesars Palace Forum Shops, where he'll be appearing all weekend to sign that baseball or photo. And if you're here in Vegas, like my man Jay Webb, and you're tuned in on iHeartRadio, make sure you guys roll over there and get that ball signed, get that photo signed, because, hey, we haven't heard any chatter lately on whether or not he'll even get into the Hall of Fame. So I want to know, I want to ask your thoughts, guys. Andrew, let's start with you, and then Gons, I want to hear your thoughts about Pete Rose and whether he's deserving and whether he will or will not get into the Hall of Fame. We'll play it before we go to break. Let's make sure they stick around to hear all the baseball chatter.
Make sure they use the right drop the last one.
Gons, your thoughts on Pete Rose? Charlie Hustle. Well, we got Jay Webb. Jay Webb lives here in Vegas, and I guess Pete Rose, you know, as most people know, he's a fixture here in Vegas.
Yeah, he spends about 2 weeks of the month out here in Vegas, so... Yeah. There we go. Having a little technical difficulties.
There we go.
We got about excuse me, about 2 months of the year. He's usually in Vegas at various sports memorabilia locations, and you can go. I asked him, "Do you pay for a picture?" Because that's the thing. It's great being in Vegas because not only do games start early, like as soon as you get off work, games are starting, but then they're over at like 8 or 9, and lots of celebrities always come here, and athletes come here, so you can get people. Like anybody, Butkus, all these people here. I think you guys saw Butkus.
We did. So we saw Dick Butkus. Now that's a name that when you're a kid, you know, you used to giggle and laugh. I know, Kadoma, you had a story about you and your nephew used to clown around about your favorite player is Dick Butkus. But he was right across the hall. It was amazing. And as Jay Webb said, Pete Rose does spend a lot of time out here in Vegas. So the line for Butkus was, you know, out the door at Field of Dreams, and then across the hall you had Pete Rose, who was just kind of twiddling his thumbs, just waiting to...
But when he's here, I mean, half the year.
Yeah, Pete Rose is pretty commonplace. I see him every time I come to Vegas. I used to come here a whole lot. You know, try to vacation out here once a year. Kind of slowed down a bit, but now with the Magic Trade Show, I'm coming out here twice a year, and I think we'll be here a third time following the Gumball 3000 this year. So looking forward to that. But before we get into that, I just want to say that I agree with you, Andrew. You know, all that Pete Rose has accomplished, the all-time hits leader and the Pete Rose slide. I mean, cheating is a part of baseball. Baseball is the cheater's sport. Everything from cork bats to steroids to sandpapering balls for pitching. You know, the gambling it's part of the sport. It's part of the legacy. I'm not saying that the league needs to embrace it, but I think that Pete Rose should be celebrated for all of his accomplishments instead of dwelling on one mistake.
Well, you know, it's funny. We have a Cubs fan, of course. We mentioned that last night.
That's how they did my boy Ron
Ron
Santo.
Santo.
Oh man, like I can't even believe it. He deserved it as much as anybody. I mean, I know like his stats weren't like as totally out of there, but they were totally high quality stats that should have got him there a long time ago. And people my generation just didn't appreciate him. And that wasn't helping anything at all.
It's sad when a guy doesn't get to be there and accept that award after a lifetime of you know, dedication to the game that they love. You know, Pete Rose, even after being shunned by Major League Baseball, was still trying to work his way up through coaching or mentoring or being an advisor. I mean, he wanted anything to do with baseball even after they turned his back on him. So just thought it was interesting. We saw him today. We will play that going to break for sure. But Andrew, I got to ask you this. We've talked about Josh Hamilton and some of the mistakes that he's made as an alcoholic and as somebody who's trying to redo his image. But now when I see stories of Hamilton coming out and saying that he's committed to a makeover, that's when it goes too far. I think Josh Hamilton does not need a makeover. He just needs to stay on the straight and narrow and play baseball and do what he does best. Yeah, but having a few drinks in the bar, I understand that's that's going against the whole recovering alcoholics initiative. But do you need a complete makeover just because you went and had a couple drinks? Well, I mean, that depends on how you look at it. I mean, is it because he has tattoos? Is it because he's a guy that has a natural ability, unlike most other people who work their lives off to play in baseball? I really don't understand where what the makeover. Why he would even have to come out and say he's committed to a makeover? Who is telling him he needs to make his image over? Because I thought we already went through that with all the happy stories on ESPN about this guy's this guy's rise to the top of his game again after being so low. Well, mm-hmm. Well, and huh. Hmm. 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 Man, you just absolutely. And we always kid Bun about our own executive producers at home, but the quote that came out started with, "My wife is already saying, 'Who are you?' Not that I was a bad person before, but the communication wasn't there. It's easy for me to retreat and shut down completely when I get home." And when you go and you do work all day and you're in the cage, and then you go and you play 9 innings and you get home and you can't have that beer to unwind, what do? You shut down. So, all right, we're getting close to this break right now. We got to hear from the all-time hit king before we go to break. But you guys stick around. I know we got some college basketball fans in the house there at Junction. We got a college basketball fan here in the studio in Vegas. So stick around. When we get back, we'll get into the Martinez report. There it is. We'll be right back here on Sports Wrap Live.
Play the wrong one.
Played the wrong one.
I was gonna say that's not the
Didn't
one I
say
thought.
stay tuned.
When Gon's getting that stuff on top of,
Oh, I don't.
yeah. What did Bob say?
I don't know what he said.
What'd you say, Bob?
I'm listening to it.
How'd you like that drop, Bob? We saw him sitting by himself in one of these memorabilia stores, twiddling his thumbs. So we decided we'd go get a drop. No, it's funny because Dick Butkus was across the hall, and he had a line around the corner, and then Pete Rose is sitting there by himself talking to some young, beautiful female. Yep.
You know that? The headphones don't really hear.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, that was a player that, you know, like our generation or our kids' generation and the future generations are going to talk about Ray Lewis the way that y'all talked about Dick Butkus. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. He wasn't into giving us a drop, but Pete Rose was, so. Nah. Absolutely. Oh, that's so funny. What's up, Bob? How are you?
How you guys doing?
Good.
So what happened? The flight got canceled or
No, we
flight?
decided our flight that we were going to take. Hang on, let me just power this down real quick.